what about the baby? So she had an abortion. She never ever told a soul.
Bernie, how dare that son of a bitch leave you with 2 kids?
So all y'all that be saying she don't look the same, don't expect me to look the same. It's been 30 years.
You look the same-ish, girl.
Oh, ish. I like that.
Lela Rochon definitely gave a little extra on the Waiting to Exhale set, but it cost her everything, from studio executives demanding cuts to her most controversial scenes and conservative groups calling for boycotts over black female sexuality.
Does he think he just did something here?
To Whitney Houston's secret cocaine overdose during filming and behind-the-scenes battles that almost killed the movie before it reached theaters.
Crack is cheap. I make too much money to ever smoke crack. Let's get that straight, okay? We don't do crack. We don't do that. Crack is whack.
And now, with the truth about how Hollywood tried to silence the film's most dangerous character finally being revealed, the Waiting to Exhale controversies prove the industry still wasn't ready for unapologetic black women. So let's get into it. In late 1994, Lela Rochon was a struggling actress with bit parts in Eddie Murphy's Harlem Nights and Boomerang when the call changed everything. Forrest Whitaker needed 4 black actresses for his directorial debut. Terry McMillan's Waiting to Exhale adaptation that everyone knew would be groundbreaking. Robin Stokes was the script's most controversial character, a sexually liberated businesswoman whose storyline would push boundaries Hollywood had never tested with black women. The competition was brutal. Halle Berry brought jungle fever stardom, while Robin Givens had Mike Tyson marriage fame and head-of-the-class recognition. Both had Eddie Murphy connections and proven star power. But Whitaker saw something different in Lela's audition. Where Berry and Givens delivered polished professionalism, Lela brought raw vulnerability, mixed with fierce confidence, exactly what Robin needed as a woman caught between strength and self-destruction.
I heard about it. Of course, I wasn't getting an audition for it. And I heard they were struggling to find the girl. I knew they had found Whitney Houston. Of course. They had found Angela Bassett. But there was no Robin yet. And I was like, oh, it's still happening.
Whitaker later revealed wanting relative unknowns to balance Whitney Houston and Angela Bassett's star power. Casting Lela over established actresses sparked immediate controversy. Studio executives questioned whether an unknown could handle such complexity in a film with Oscar expectations, especially since Robin's storyline was already the script's most challenging element. The decision exposed Hollywood's complicated relationship with black actresses who'd worked with Murphy. All 3 contenders had appeared in his films, revealing how few opportunities existed outside specific role types.
So what about the baby? So she had an abortion. She never ever told a soul. Not even her mama.
But what Lela didn't realize was that she had just signed up for the most controversial role in a film that would spark debates about black sexuality, respectability, and Hollywood's treatment of women who dared to be too bold on screen. The audition process was over, but the real battle for Lela Rochon was just beginning. From the moment filming began on Waiting to Exhale, it became clear that Robin Stokes was unlike any black female character Hollywood had ever put on screen. Terry McMillan had created a woman who was unapologetically sexual, professionally successful, and completely uninterested in conforming to respectable black womanhood expectations. And Lela Rochon had to bring her to life. The character of Robin represented a seismic shift in how black women could be portrayed in mainstream cinema. For decades, Hollywood had relegated black actresses to 2 primary categories: the desexualized mammy figure or the hypersexualized Jezebel stereotype. Robin Stokes existed in dangerous territory between these extremes, embodying a complexity that threatened the industry's comfortable categorizations.
Tell me whatever you want to.
Oh, so I'm just supposed to accept this?
You don't have a choice. You should have asked me before committing me.
Robin was an insurance executive who made good money, drove a nice car, and lived in a beautiful home. but she was also the longtime mistress of a married man named Russell. Her storyline explored themes that made everyone uncomfortable. A successful black woman choosing to be sexually available to unavailable men, prioritizing pleasure over respectability, and refusing to apologize for her desires. What made Robin particularly threatening to conservative sensibilities was her economic independence. She wasn't a victim of circumstance or poverty who turned to questionable relationships out of desperation. Instead, she was a woman with choices who consistently made ones that prioritized her immediate gratification over long-term stability or social acceptance. This agency terrified audiences who preferred their black female characters to be either virtuous or pitiable. The script called for Robin to have multiple intimate scenes with different men, including a painfully awkward encounter with co-worker Michael Davenport and passionate moments with her destructive lover Russell. Unlike the other three characters, Robin's sexuality was explicitly visualized rather than implied, making Lela the lightning rod for all the criticism that was coming. The decision to show Robin's sexuality so directly was unprecedented for a black actress in a major studio film. While white actresses like Sharon Stone and Demi Moore were being celebrated for their sexual boldness in films like Basic Instinct and Indecent Proposal, black actresses were expected to maintain a level of respectability that didn't challenge white comfort zones. Robin's explicit sexuality crossed lines that Hollywood had never allowed black women to cross before.
Does he think he just did something here? I could have had a V8.
Behind the scenes, tension was already building around how to film Robin's more intimate moments. Studio executives were nervous about showing a black woman's sexuality so directly, especially since most Hollywood films either desexualized black women completely or portrayed them as hypersexual stereotypes. Robin existed in a middle ground that made everyone uncomfortable. The wardrobe department dressed Robin in form-fitting clothes that emphasized her attractiveness, while the other characters wore more conservative outfits that reflected their different personalities. This visual choice made Robin stand out as the sexual one among the four friends, reinforcing the narrative that would later be used to attack both the character and Lela herself. Director Forrest Whitaker encouraged the cast to explore their characters' emotional depths, but he also used unconventional methods to help them access difficult scenes. He would play specific songs to create emotional atmospheres before shooting, and he pushed the actresses to find personal connections to their characters' pain and joy. For Lela, this meant diving deep into Robin's complex psychology. A woman who appeared confident and in control, but was actually desperate for love and validation. Robin's sexual liberation wasn't empowerment. It was a coping mechanism for deeper wounds that she refused to acknowledge or address.
Michael is not pretty, but he's available.
You get the best loving in the world when a man is begging.
The supporting male actors, including Leon Robinson as Russell and Mykelti Williamson as Troy, brought their own energy to Robin's romantic storylines. Leon's Russell was charming, but ultimately selfish, while Mykelti's Troy was rough and unpredictable, both men representing different types of destructive relationships that Robin couldn't seem to escape. As filming progressed, it became clear that Robin's storyline was going to be the most controversial aspect of the finished film. While Bernadine's car-burning scene and Savannah's relationship with a married man dealt with familiar territory, Robin's unapologetic sexuality and eventual consequences would spark conversations that Hollywood wasn't prepared to handle. Lela threw herself into the role with complete commitment, but she had no idea that her fearless performance was about to make her the target of criticism that would follow her for years. In bringing Robin Stokes to life, she was about to become the face of every uncomfortable conversation about black women, sexuality, and respectability that America had been avoiding. As Waiting to Exhale moved through production and post-production, studio executives at 20th Century Fox began expressing concerns about the film's content that went far beyond typical Hollywood nervousness. The movie was pushing boundaries that made white executives uncomfortable, and their attempts to soften the film's impact would create lasting tension with the cast and creative team. Angela Bassett's iconic car-burning scene became the first major battleground between the studio and the filmmakers. Executives worried that the scene was too angry, too black, and too extreme for mainstream audiences. Some studio notes reportedly suggested that Bernadine's rage needed to be toned down because it might alienate white viewers who weren't prepared to see a black woman's fury so explicitly displayed. The studio's concerns revealed a fundamental misunderstanding of the film's purpose and audience. While executives worried about white comfort levels, they failed to recognize that black women audiences were hungry for exactly this type of cathartic representation. The car-burning scene would eventually become the most iconic moment in the film precisely because it gave black women permission to express anger that society demanded they suppress. Whitney Houston and Angela Bassett reportedly pushed back hard against studio attempts to sanitize the film's message. Both actresses understood that watering down the story's emotional truth would betray the black women audiences who were counting on honest representation. Their star power gave them leverage that lesser-known cast members like Lela didn't have. The conflict between the studio and the creative team created an atmosphere where certain storylines were protected while others remained vulnerable to criticism. Bernadine's rage was eventually preserved, but Robin's sexuality remained a target for those who wanted to tone down the film's most controversial elements. Terry McMillan, whose novel provided the source material, found herself caught between her artistic vision and commercial pressures. She later hinted that certain emotional layers and internal monologues were cut from the screenplay to make the film more palatable for mainstream distribution, particularly dialogue about female loneliness and desire. The studio's nervousness about the film's content would prove to be completely misguided when Waiting to Exhale became a massive commercial success. But their concerns during production created lasting damage to how certain characters and performances were perceived by critics and audiences. While the studio fought over the film's content, behind-the-scenes drama was unfolding that would remain hidden from public view for decades. Whitney Houston was at the height of her fame following The Bodyguard, but she was also struggling with drug addiction that would eventually destroy her career and her life. According to Whitney's longtime bodyguard, David Roberts, the superstar suffered a cocaine overdose during the production of Waiting to Exhale.
Crack is cheap. I make too much money to ever smoke crack. Let's get that straight, okay? We don't do crack. We don't do that. Crack is whack.
The incident was handled quietly to protect both Whitney's career and the film's production schedule, but it revealed the intense pressure that the entire cast was under while making what everyone knew would be a culturally significant movie. Whitney's struggles created additional tension for her co-stars, who were already dealing with the pressure of carrying a groundbreaking film while navigating complex industry politics. Angela Bassett, Lela Rochon, and Loretta Devine found themselves protecting Whitney while trying to deliver their own best performances under increasingly difficult circumstances. The overdose incident was kept from the media and studio executives, but it created an atmosphere of secrecy and concern among the cast and crew. Everyone understood that Whitney's participation was crucial to the film's commercial success, and losing her would have been devastating for everyone involved in the project. For Lela Rochon, Whitney's struggles added another layer of complexity to an already challenging situation. As the unknown actress among established stars, Lela was already dealing with the pressure of proving herself worthy of the role while handling the most controversial character in the script. Whitney's problems reminded everyone how fragile success could be in Hollywood.
So what do you think, Robin? I've loved this man forever, and now that we've got another chance, I don't want to blow up by making him think I don't have any faith in him.
The cast publicly denied rumors of tension between the four lead actresses, emphasizing their genuine friendship and mutual support during filming. But the combination of studio pressure, media scrutiny, and personal struggles created an environment where everyone had to be constantly on guard about their public image and professional relationships. Media speculation about cast tensions reflected broader assumptions about Black women's ability to work together professionally. The entertainment industry seemed surprised that four successful Black actresses could collaborate effectively without drama, revealing racist stereotypes about Black women's competitiveness and inability to support each other. Despite Waiting to Exhale's massive commercial success and cultural impact, Lela Rochon's career trajectory after the film revealed the hidden costs of playing a character that challenged Hollywood's comfort zones. While her co-stars Angela Bassett, Whitney Houston, and Loretta Devine continued receiving prominent roles, Lela found herself quietly steered away from leading lady opportunities. The film industry's response to Lela's performance was complex and contradictory. She received MTV Movie Award and NAACP Image Award nominations for her work as Robin Stokes, acknowledging the technical quality of her performance. But the roles offered to her afterward suggested that Hollywood wasn't sure how to package an actress who had portrayed such an explicitly sexual Black female character.
Richie, I think I'm falling in love with you.
Angela Bassett went on to receive Oscar nominations and starring roles in major films, while Whitney Houston continued her music career alongside select film projects. Loretta Devine became a beloved character actress with steady work in both film and television. But Lela's opportunities were notably more limited, often involving supporting roles or lighter romantic parts that didn't challenge audiences. The pattern reflected a long-standing Hollywood tendency to punish Black actresses who portrayed sexuality too directly or controversially. Stars like Dorothy Dandridge and Pam Grier had faced similar career limitations after playing sexually liberated characters, and Lela's experience suggested that little had changed despite the film industry's supposed progress. Casting directors seemed uncertain about how to position Lela after Waiting to Exhale. Was she a serious dramatic actress, a romantic comedy lead, a character actress? The Robin Stokes role had been so specifically controversial that it became difficult for industry professionals to see her as anything else. The 1996 film The Chamber provided Lela with a leading role, but subsequent projects like Gang-Related and Knockoff were action films where her romantic storylines were secondary to male-driven plots. While these roles kept her working, they didn't establish her as the breakout star that many had predicted after Waiting to Exhale. Industry insiders later revealed that some executives worried about audience reactions to Lela in romantic lead roles, concerned that viewers would bring their feelings about Robin Stokes to other characters. This concern effectively limited her to specific types of roles that wouldn't remind audiences of her controversial Waiting to Exhale performance. The marriage to director Antoine Fuqua in 1999 provided personal happiness, but also contributed to Lela stepping back from active pursuit of leading roles.
Nicole was a hot topic, she still is, for kissing a married man. Antoine, no, that is not a... No, not like that. No, I'm talking about, that wasn't a kiss.
Her decision to prioritize family after struggling with fertility issues was understandable, but it also coincided with Hollywood's apparent uncertainty about how to use her talents effectively. When Lela returned to acting more seriously in the 2010s, the industry had changed significantly. Streaming platforms and independent productions offered more opportunities for diverse storytelling, but she was now competing in a marketplace where she was seen as a veteran rather than a rising star.
So all y'all that be saying, she don't look the same, don't expect me to look the same. It's been 30 years.
You look the same-ish, girl.
Oh, ish, I like that.
The recent success of the family business, New Orleans, where Lela serves as both star and producer, represents a full-circle moment where she has taken control of her own narrative. But the project also highlights how long it took for her to find the creative freedom that should have followed naturally from her breakthrough performance in Waiting to Exhale. Looking back at Lela Rochon's career trajectory reveals the hidden mechanisms by which Hollywood punishes actresses who challenge comfortable narratives about Black female sexuality and respectability. Her experience serves as a cautionary tale about the costs of being too bold, too sexual, or too uncompromising in an industry that prefers its Black female stars to be safely categorizable and unthreatening to broader audiences. The woman who gave everything to bring Robin Stokes to life ultimately paid a price that her more celebrated co-stars never had to face, demonstrating that in Hollywood, sometimes the most memorable performances can become career limitations rather than stepping stones to greater success. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye!